My sister's in trouble. Give her your savings of $20,000. Depending on your answer, we could wind up getting divorced, eh?
Okay, let's decide on a date quickly then.
Huh?
Trouble busters!
My name is Helen, and I used to work as a talented wedding planner who was fully booked up to a year in advance. I thought it was time to think about my own happiness as well, so I quit my profession and got married by having an acquaintance find a match for me. Before getting married, Seth seemed to be a kind and gentle person, but after getting married, he suddenly changed for the worst. The family he was born into is more important to him than anything else, and
Help me!
at this pace, Alan's certainly gonna divorce me. There's nothing wrong with me.
You heard her, Helen. My sister's in trouble. Give her your savings of $20,000.
What? No. 20 grand isn't an amount I can just hand over because Sadie is having a big trouble. If we give it to your sister, Seth, we will be in big trouble next.
You lie. You saved up quite a fortune when you were single, didn't you? Sadie is in an emergency situation right now. Unless she doesn't return the money she owes to Alan, she's at great risk of getting divorced.
That's what's wrong with this in the first place.
Looks like you do know what's going on. That's true. Sadie only used this money for her living expenses, so it's definitely ridiculous for him to ask it back.
No, that's not it.
Eh?
You seriously claim there's nothing wrong with Miss Sadie's sense of money? She's 20 grand in living expenses. Wait a minute. Can it be that you're on Alan's side, Helen?
What? If you are, we're divorcing.
What? Maybe worse, you're probably in cahoots with Alan.
We're divorcing.
Wait a minute.
All you have to do is listen to what I say without complaining. Give Sadie your savings of $20,000. Depending on your answer, we could wind up getting divorced, eh?
Here we go again. Whenever you're in frickin' trouble, you immediately threaten me with divorce. Using divorce as a tool for blackmail is the worst in itself. I genuinely thought about divorcing such an abusive husband, but knowing it'll be difficult to return to society after becoming a housewife in my mid-30s, I thought I had no choice but to endure it.
Look at this. You know what this is, right? It's a divorce form.
Please, Seth.
Eh? You frickin' know it is. You want me to stop, right?
In that case, please give me $20,000. Please wait. Your sister's using 20 grand for living expenses, right, Seth? That's right. Isn't divorce because of that terrible? Well, then I'd like to change my direction to persuading Alan instead of giving you the money. He wouldn't understand. That's why I'm relying on Seth now. Let's convince him. If the use of the original 20 grand is justified, then the logic lies with you, Miss Sadie. If that's the case, then you don't even need to pay back the money. It's a waste! A waste! He doesn't recognize my hard work. You mean that he doesn't recognize how difficult it is to be a housewife? That's right! Then let's make him understand. Giving $20,000 right here, right now, is merely a measure of postponement and does not solve the fundamental problem. What did you use the 20 grand for? That would be... For example, if you use the money to renovate your house in preparation for the future, or used it as a down payment on a new, more expensive car because your current car is too old, then I don't think that there's a problem. Did you consult him about using it in advance? Consult? Are you all right, ma'am? I didn't consult him. I'm afraid that makes things bad, ma'am. It's a lot of money, and if you don't report it in advance... I'm in charge of the household budget, so why would I need to consult him in advance? That might be true if it was a small amount of money, but since the amount states otherwise, what on earth was the money used for? That's... Please tell me, Miss Sadie. It's very important for both of us. Please? Miss Sadie fell silent in response to my question, so it was never a proper use for the money after all. In that case, I would never give her 20 grand of my money. In the first place, such an amount of money does not disappear into mere living expenses. Even if it does, there's always a convincing reason for it.
All right, I get it now.
Huh?
Helen, we're divorcing.
Are you serious?
Of course. Prepare yourself. You're saying all this shit, but in the end, you're just reluctant to give Sadie the money.
That's not at all, Seth. After all, $20,000 for living expenses is ridiculous. So now your true feelings spill out, eh? You don't believe in me after all, do you? I can't make a decision without asking why you're asking me. Are you unable to see the reason? I've got no obligation to answer. Yes, you do. I can't hand over $20,000 without being satisfied with your situation.
So you really are just reluctant.
No matter how you think about it, it's ridiculous. If you had a legitimate use for the money, please tell your husband about it. I would have done that if he was the kind of person who listens to me.
For real. I guess you see my very own older sister as a useless housewife who can't even do that, huh?
After all, she stubbornly refuses to give me any answer.
I know Sadie's use for the money, and I decided it was a legitimate way to use it. Give her your savings of $20,000.
Then tell me what you know.
I have no obligation to tell you.
If it's legitimate, let's try to convince Alan.
Don't go about thinking everything can be resolved with your logic. Before we set up a meeting to discuss it with Alan, what if he decided to divorce Sadie? What then?
That's right. How will you take responsibility? Why do I have to take responsibility for the mess in Sadie's family?
Yeah. I'll frickin' make sure you don't take responsibility.
Are you serious?
We don't need a heartless person who would willingly force my own family into divorce because of a lack of money. Over a mere $20,000 too. You're finished, Helen.
You're 34 years old, right, Helen, darling?
Well, you better regret disobeying me.
Even though I haven't said anything wrong, this treatment. I've had enough to live under control of such a prick.
Look, Helen, I filled it in.
That was the moment something snapped inside me. Unforgivable. Troublebusters initiate.
Well, now that you know how serious I am, learn from your mistake and never show your...
Okay, let's quickly decide on a date then.
Huh?
If you're gonna go so far under this presumption that I have a weakness, screw it.
Hey, Helen!
Divorce approved. Pull yourself together. Up until now, I've raised the white flag every time you threaten me with divorce. But that won't work anymore because I've decided.
No, that's a joke, right? Huh?
A joke? Is this divorce forum of yours a joke?
No, that's because I'm your master, so to speak. Since we're married, your money is...
Are you starking raving mad, Seth?
Don't get so angry. Then... oh, I know. $15,000 should be good.
Oh, and please don't talk to me anymore.
What are you?
After all, it's my money that I saved when I was single. You have no authority in complaining how I use my money. I have no obligation to give it to a helpless housewife who spent 20 grand on stupid living expenses. The hell are living expenses that cannot be named, eh? You're probably wasting it all on gambling or extravagant shopping. Or men.
Will you give her the money if I tell you the truth?
Hell no, I won't.
Wait, calm down. The divorce form was all a joke.
I can't freaking live with a husband who uses such a serious thing as a mere threat. Further questions answered and discussed are useless. I immediately packed up my things and started preparing to leave the house.
Hey, Helen!
Seth, being manipulative, abusive bastard that he is, wasn't expecting this kind of ending, I suppose. And now he's trembling from head to toe. Disgraceful. If you're gonna be in trouble afterwards, don't fill in the divorce forms in the first place.
You're joking, right?
I'm dead serious.
Because if you're a full-time housewife, you'll be in trouble if you divorce me.
My biggest mistake was thinking the same and listening to you this whole time.
Huh?
I agreed to the divorce. I cannot do it with you anymore.
Hey, Helen! You'll come home, right? After calming down? There's no way we're getting divorced just like this, right?
Yep, we are, bucko.
No way!
We can't cancel everything now. Please go ahead and frickin' pamper your favorite darling sister and live happily ever after with her and her delusions.
Helen, hey!
Don't come any closer.
Seriously!
Hey, Seth, what are we gonna do?
Shut up! It's your fault that this happened!
Weren't you the one who told me to leave it all to you?
For now, anyhow. The first thing to do is calm Helen down. If we don't do that, my family and yours will be finished, and we will both collapse together. I'm sorry. Please forgive me for getting carried away.
Please help me. You're so persistent, huh? Please, I'll never do something like this again, and I'll even pay you back the money I borrowed. Well then, I'll ask you again, what was the purpose of spending $20,000? Was it a splurge, was it gambling, or was it another man? Which one is it? Will you help me if I tell you the truth? I'm hanging up now. Wait. You'll need to answer my question. You are not in the position to negotiate with me. Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I ended up having a deep relationship with my teacher in my cooking class and...
Looks like Alan found out about this as well.
If anyone loses $20,000 in savings, they'd notice. And As you know, Alan's usually a very calm, kind person, but he just blew up. Of course he would. If you can't explain the embezzlement of $20,000, I'll divorce you. If you don't want to tell me, we can talk about it, but first I need you to give me back the money. That's what he said. Isn't that terrible? Means he never believed in me after all. No, even if he didn't believe you, you're cheating on him after all. You're doing something not even a housewife can be forgiven in doing. By the way, when did this relationship start? 6 months ago? Does Alan know that you're taking a cooking class? Yes. What's his name? Do I really have to answer that? Why should that? I'm hanging up now. It's Clifford Johnson. Is that so? I understand most everything now.
I apologize for keeping it all a secret from you. And I also apologize for the divorce forms, so please, help me keep my honor just this once.
Hold your honor? The frick? This is the problem between Sadie and her husband. It has nothing to do with you or me. Adultery is an act with no excuse and is not worth being merciful to. If I want to save anyone in this whole nightmare, I would always pick Alan. Always. Now then, because I pretty much exactly have the details of the story, it's become impossible to bring myself to help you, Sadie. What do you mean? Take my words literally. Please accept your husband's punishment gracefully. Absolutely not. If you don't cooperate, Helen, I'll play the blissful ignorance card. I expected that reaction, Sadie. Huh? I took the liberty of recording the conversation just now. What? The audio data will promptly sent to Alan Thompson. Hey, you're gonna betray me? I was never an ally of yours, Sadie. I'm Seth's older sister. Hello? You're also the sister of a man who's getting divorced from his wife. It doesn't matter to me.
Hey, Helen, please stop tormenting us.
Tormenting, you say? In both cases, you brought your own self-destruction. No matter how you look at it, it's Sadie's fault. But you were the one who has been so selfish to put your blood family before everything else, forcefully sacrificing the happiness of Trevor and I, and expected me to bow down.
I'll make this the last time.
The last time. So what will you do if your sister makes an unreasonable request in the future?
Persuade her to stop.
If you can't do it?
I'll definitely do it. Please reconsider.
Do you know what you did wrong this time?
Of course.
And what is that?
That would be
Yeah?
I will never use divorce as a tool of blackmail.
That is only relevant to this particular occasion. What I want to know is why did this whole thing transpire like this? The original cause.
It's that, right?
It's what?
I understand.
Proceed.
I can no longer go get divorce forms from the government office.
So it seems like you don't understand the essence of anything at all.
Huh?
That's not the answer I wanted.
What? Then what is it?
Goodbye.
Helen! Then what is it? What is it, damn it? Shit!
It's all over. Not only is there no support from Helen, but the secret information is also sent to Alan. Why? Why would you give her divorce forms? Complete miscarriage.
This plan had been working well for me up until now, so there was nothing wrong with my method. I think the reason is that you demanded an outrageous price of 20 frickin' grand.
I can't help it. I already used all of that. And yet you said to leave it to you, didn't you?
I was actually against it. This is bad. Actually, I was against it.
Stop it now. That's not fair.
I don't want someone who's cheating on her husband, which is among the most unfair of the unfair, to tell me that.
The divorce continues like this, you will be held responsible.
That's my line.
What the?
What? No, it's from Helen. Helen! This is definitely the pattern, Helen. We considered everything.
No way, that's definitely bad news.
Yes. Only bad news for you, whose devious acts of adultery were discovered. All I did was a little mistake, but even that stemmed from love. I mean, of course. Hello, Helen? She is the woman who originally loved me and married me. I guess you changed her mind after all. She can't give up on her husband/masters that easily.
Huh? No, I haven't. I just received a call from Alan, see? But it seems like my audio recording was almost completely useless. Does that mean that Alan's forgiven me? Oh, no, ma'am. Seems like he's already hired a few detectives to solidify evidence of your affair. What? Thank you. But it's okay because I already knew everything. That's what he told me. But he said he'd forgive me if I gave him the 20 grand back. Seems like that was a lie to cleverly use detectives to prevent you from realizing you were being investigated. Quite the strategist, isn't he, Alan? He'll be sending you proof of content soon, so you better lay in bed tonight trembling in fear, was his message to you, Sadie. I also have another message for Seth.
What is it?
Alan also knows that you've been complicit in Sadie's affair, you see?
What? He knows to that extent?
That means that you too will be required to pay damages for aiding and abetting adultery. So prepare yourself.
What? I know nothing. I don't know anything about that.
However, detectives have caught you and Sadie's sweetheart in the same photo, like when you were driving the two lovebirds places, and other minute details like that. Photographic evidence of message exchanges discussing and creating alibis. All things considered, the evidence against you is just as solid. I don't think you have any chance of winning, see?
Wait, that's all a misunderstanding. I had no choice but to do what Sadie asked me to do.
The feelings and process don't matter. What matters is the actions themselves, whether or not you assisted in adultery.
No, please, wait. If that happens, the divorce with you will become seriously dangerous. If my parents find out about Sadie having an affair, even if I don't care about what happens to her, even I will be disowned.
It's all seeds that you've freaking sown. You brought this on yourself.
Please, Helen, help me. You are the only one who can protect me now.
Unfortunately, the person I want to protect now is Trevor, and Trevor only.
Please, I love you so much. And Trevor, I'm toast without you. I won't go against you again in the future. I'll listen to whatever you have to say.
Then just let us get a divorce.
That's just not included. But anything else is okay. Helen, I love you. I want to be with you. Oh, thank you for saving up for Trevor and his future. You are a wonderful woman. I'll become the man you deserve. So, the divorce, let's not proceed with that.
You brought home the divorce forms, right? Also, about the case of aiding and abetting adultery, I'm also furious.
But it was actually Sadie who did it all, right?
I'm furious about a different thing altogether. It's literally scandalous to cooperate with a relative's adultery. You two damn chowderheads acted cowardly and drove a man into a corner. You guys are too insensitive to people's pain. It's impossible for me to get along with someone like that.
I was wrong. Please forgive me.
I don't need alimony, nor do I need any divided assets. Don't show your face to me or Trevor ever again.
It's all over. I'm finished. Completely abandoned. I've lost everything.
I then went to the government office, submitted the divorce forms, and the divorce was finalized, and I became a single mother. On the other hand, the maniacal siblings are said to be experiencing incredible hardships. Divorce between Alan and Sadie was settled. As promised, Alan sent proof of content and obtained $30,000 in alimony for Sadie's extramarital affair and another $10,000 in damages against Sean for aiding and abetting the adultery. They were disowned by his parents and was neck deep in debt, but thinking that they would be okay because they had my savings, he gambled everything away that he had left, and before he knew it, Seth had an additional 20 grand in debt. Now the siblings live together in one-room apartment and feeling depressed every day, curse each other, claiming each other as the cause for their misery. Yes, they were close once upon a time, and now that it's a small room, they can always feel the other person next to them. On the other hand, I now live happily with my kind parents and adorable son. I was able to get back in my professional work, and mark my words, I make a great living. Troublebusters.